Tilted Towers has returned, and it is OP for the current map and basically for any other map in a previous season or even chapter. But what makes it so strong? Honestly, everything. If you want to start looking at chest numbers first, this is where things get kind of intense. There's 57 chests total. Now, unfortunately, I can't go back and check the chests from previous seasons and chapters because there's no real way I can quickly go and count that. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the 57 chests that are here in Tilted Towers is more than any other POI has ever had in history, maybe outside of the block in a couple of the older variations. I certainly don't remember any other one having this level. So if we do a look across the map at what some of the other POIs are, Daily Bugle has 48 and Chonkers has 46. So at least 9 more chests than the current most stacked POI, which was the Daily Bugle. There's also 2 split drops, which would be the Ruins and the Towaway Beach, these 2 splits on the far sides here, which have 48 total as well. But this isn't really a POI, this is just a large amount of area that teams seem to be landing at in duos so far. So it doesn't sound that OP when you look at just the chest numbers, but it's when you start to take everything else into consideration where it gets a little bit nutty. So the chest, like I mentioned, 57 in comparison to 48 in Chonkers, a little bit of an increase, but nothing major. But the floor loot, 198 in comparison to Daily Bugle, which has 144. Remember, launch pads spawn on floor loot, so the more floor loot, the better chance you have of getting launch pads. When it comes to ammo crates, remember this season is spray, spray, spray when it comes to the ARs and the SMGs, and there is 56 ammo crates in this drop spot in comparison to Daily Bugle that has 34. Now that 56 is more than any other POI on the map, so it has the most chests, it has the most floor loot, and has the most ammo boxes as well. When it comes to slurp barrels, it has 23 in comparison to the 9 that is in the Daily Bugle. The produce boxes, it has 32 in comparison to Daily Bugle's 6. Now 32, remember, this is opportunities for you to get peppers, which in solos and in duos is really valuable mobility. And when it comes to getting gold, there's 20 safes, which in comparison to the next highest was Daily Bugle, where it has 10. So Tilted has the most chests, the most floor loot, the most ammo, the most slurp barrels, the most produce boxes, and the most safes. The only 2 things that this POI really doesn't have, firstly, is coolers. There's only 1 on top of the hotel building, whereas something like Chonker Speedway has 17 of these coolers, which will give you really easy access to a ton of chug splashes, so very valuable. But if you have the amount of chests that you have in Tilted, do you really need that many coolers to get more splashes? Probably not. And it also does not have the Spider-Man mythic, the web slingers. The closest ones are at the Behemoth Bridge to the north, and if you're one of the teams landing Loot Lake, your chances are you're going to be able to grab these. So from the players landing Tilted, it's highly unlikely that they're going to be able to get any of the Spider-Man mythics at all. So in summary, in comparison to any other drop spot on the map, this basically has everything. I should also note that there's a ton of metal in this drop spot. Even just on the south side alone, near this gas station, just to the south alone, has roughly 800 to 900 metal. It's not even in the POI itself. So if you're going to have 4 players land here, there's clearly enough metal for all 4 players to get up to 500. Metal in the early game, as we know, is the most valuable resource to harvest. So with tons of vehicles, fences, there's slurp barrels, which give you even more metal. This drop spot truly has it all. Now, being such a prestigious POI, that's obviously going to alert a lot of players that are going to want to drop there. A lot of people are going to start fighting for this. We've already seen Benji alongside Mr. Savage and Tayson and Thomas HD both have their eyes set on it so far, says Pink. We'll see if that actually ends up being true when it comes to the cash cups today. I will happily check the VODs later and make sure everyone knows in the comments down below. With each team needing roughly 7 to 10 chests per person, so that's going to be 14 to 20 chests per duo in a competitive setting, this drop spot can hold 3 teams without fighting. Is that actually going to happen? I do not think so. The outcome that I think will end up happening here in, say, like FNCS finals this season is that eventually 2 teams will land here, they'll split it, and they'll just not end up fighting at all. With this much loot, just why would you even bother fighting over it? It's just going to slow you down in your early game. Sure, you'll get the tags off of it, which I'm sure some teams will look for some sneaky strategies for that, but actually full fighting for that is just not worth it for this level of POI. You have enough loot. Now that also leads us to one of the next issues and strong sides, which is its positioning overall. Tilted is in the center of the map. Great for rotations, great for everything else, but what you need to remember about a center map position is that teams will rotate to you very frequently, basically irrespective of what the zones are. So these mid-map zones often become really congested. And now if we actually start to look at the lay of the land, the hills that are all around it, That is a huge red flag for stacked games. You got to notice that players will start getting set up on these hills towards the west, so the southwest, the southeast, and to the east for easy storm surge tags on players rotating all the way around this area, but also on the players rotating through here as well. Now, because it has so much loot, this kind of works against it in a way, because it will take so much time to loot everything. The loot's kind of spread out, not relatively even. It's not like all of these chests are in one building. It's all spread through a large map of area, which means it'll take time to loot, which means that all those ammo crates, every single thing you're going to have to try and pick up from in here will take time, which means that players who've landed near you, who've set up, can just sit on those hills and get easy tags on you, making it very difficult to rotate out of here. There's spots like this kind of 7 Outpost 6 up to the northeast, which can easily loot quickly and just get set up on a hill and take tags, or even steal some of the loot from tilted towers just because there's so much of it. Or you can see kind of the wooden shack up to the northwest hand side here that has 5 chests in it. They can easily rotate up and grab even more chests that are located up on the hills to the side. Third party inside tilted. So fighting inside tilted in like a finals environment in a really stacked tournament could be very tough because of the third party potential that's here. So realistically, I do see 2 teams landing, looting as fast as they can, and disengaging and getting out of here as fast as they can. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. Peace.